fun, tarnation!
I meant to do that.
Howdy folks, this is Applegeek, and I'm about to watch My Little Pony Season 8, Episode 20. Now, just an FYI, I am actually watching this one a little early. It has not aired on Discovery Family yet, but I have just been getting such a crazy amount of hype from, like, all directions on this one. Just people saying they can't wait to see my reaction to this particular episode. I'm pretty sure at this point that I've got no spoilers, absolutely no spoilers about this one. So I have no idea what it's about, but I am almost positive it's going to be an Apple Family episode because why else would people be getting, hyped for me specifically over this one, for one thing, and also we really haven't gotten any significant Apple Family episodes this season aside from, Big Mac and Sugar Bell and whatever. So, yeah, this could be very interesting, hopefully very exciting. I'm super hyped about myself because of all the buzz, so yeah, I'm just going to watch this now and get this out of the way so I don't get spoiled on it, because I want to do the best reaction I can if it's really as good as everybody's making it out to be. I'm still going to be releasing this after it's actually aired on Discovery, but yeah, there you have it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and give this a watch. Episode 20, starting now.
Order, every pony! I hereby call to order this meeting of the Rainbow Dash Fan Club.
Okay, Rainbow Dash Fan Club.
First order
What the?
of business? Let's celebrate the one and only Rainbow Dash. Yay, she's amazing. Now, if there's nothing else, that concludes this meeting of the Rainbow Dash Fan Club. Thank you all for coming. Any questions?
Okay.
Huh?
I'm having serious deja vu here. What? Why did she get over that what?
I'd like to call to order the first ever meeting of the newest and most exciting club, of which I am the president, founding, and only member, the Washouts Fan Club.
The what? Hot. What in the? Okay. Trying to process this. First of all, not an Apple Family episode. Scootaloo's got a new favorite pony, their favorite group that's not Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts? Is this going to be the Scootaloo episode? Is this going to be the Scootaloo episode? I'm scared. I'm scared to hope at this point, but I seriously thought I was watching like an old episode here, like
I was just in the neighborhood.
like somebody's trolling me with this, but yes, what is
Can I
this?
interrupt your fan club meeting?
The Washouts.
Hey, what are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question.
Lightning dust. Is this gonna be lightning dust?
Definitely not starting a new fan club or anything.
Oh, of course
It's
not.
no use pretending. I heard everything when I was outside eavesdropping like I do for every meeting.
You eavesdrop on every meeting?
Of course she
That's
does.
Weird.
A little
Well, sure,
creepy.
it sounds weird when you say it out loud, and I probably shouldn't because eavesdropping is wrong, but still, why are you starting a new fan club?
Yes, please.
I just think maybe it's time for me to explore other fan clubs.
Oh, what does that mean?
What is, the Washouts?
Only the newest and greatest and only stunt troupe in Equestria.
Yeah, they washed out of the Wonderbolts
Like the
Academy.
Wonderbolts, just 20 bajillion% cooler.
Oh, no, she didn't!
Sorts of extreme stunts that focus on daredevilry and sheer guts, rather than boring old flight and formation junk.
Boring old flight and formation junk?
I'm gonna scream if I don't see lightning dust in
everything
this.
I say.
Only because my
yeah.
brain feels like it's strapped to one of those rockets about to explode.
You do get it. Aren't they awesome?
Oh no!
Can you believe she actually said that?
Dash is having an identity crisis here.
Eavesdropping on every meeting is kind of weird.
Yeah, there's
she
that.
basically said
We
that
should
the
talk about that.
Wonderbolts aren't cool. And it kind of sounded like she didn't think I was cool either. But we all know that's crazy. I mean, I'm definitely not worried about her looking up to some pony else. Nope, not at all. Well, I'd understand
yeah.
if you were. It'd be like if Apple Bloom started loving bananas more than apples.
Is that better or worse than strawberries?
What happens here? But what possibly have that I don't?
Why don't you find out?
They're doing a show in Ponyville this weekend?
Of course they are.
Wow, they do look pretty amazingly unamazing. Trying so hard to look amazing is what I mean.
Nice tap dancing there, Twilight.
Twilight!
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I knew we should have lined up last night.
Wow, this is a really popular plate team here. Oh,
I'm sorry
Got a
for
spot over
making
there.
this late. Who would have guessed extreme chocolate air show cupcakes would take an extremely long time to bake?
wow. Somebody figure out how to make those. Those are amazing.
Look at this. It's a total
Scootaloo.
wonderful rip-off.
What do you mean? The show hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, but look at what we're sitting on. Hello. The
Bleachers
Wonderbolts
are
have
bleachers.
Bleachers too. We practically
So?
invented sitting on bleachers. And look at that. Popcorn.
Quite
and
modest, aren't we?
Rip off.
I'm not even going to comment anymore.
This is the time. This is the place. This is the team. This is the Washouts.
Washouts. I see teal-colored wings.
Quality confetti cannon work.
Waiting for it. Waiting for it.
Oh yeah!
Waiting for it.
Say it with me now. The Washouts official motto. Leap before you look.
Leap before you look. Okay. Not exactly wise words, but sure. Okay. Yeah.
While they're amazingly awesome, the Washouts.
I already know it is. I'm waiting for the big reveal.
Flight suits. Do not try this at home.
Oh boy. This makes so much sense. Who she got with her though? Ooh. That's pretty impressive.
Come on. She's not gonna make it.
It's all time. Ooh. She's fine. Yeah. Pause for dramatic effect.
That was insane.
Dash, you're cheering for the competition.
Pretty cool. Who are these guys?
I wonder.
I can't just go up and talk to them.
You can if you're with me. After all, one of the reasons there's a Rainbow Dash fan club is because I'm fearless. Observe.
Wow.
Hey!
Okay. New characters.
So, as a fellow aerobatic professional, I really enjoyed your show. Actually, you might recognize me since I'm
And they're about to slam the
pause for
Wonderbolts.
dramatic effect. Hey, Wonderbolt.
Yeah.
Join the club.
Scootaloo's face.
No, I mean literally, join the club. We're called the Washouts because we all used to be Wonderbolts just like you.
Mm-hmm.
Until we washed out.
No way.
Yep. Name's Rolling Thunder. I got booted out of Wonderbolt Academy because of flagrant disregard for hazardous weather. If doing barrel rolls through 900 million volts of electricity in a raging thunderstorm is wrong, then I don't want to be right.
Wow.
Oh,
This is Short Fuse.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Short
what's
face.
your story?
That makes sense.
So, who's the leader?
Anger issues.
Only the most reckless ex-Wonderbolt of all time.
Hey there, lightning dust.
Lightning dust.
Yes.
Rainbow Dash.
Scootaloo. Hi.
Wow. Okay, not the way I expected Lightning Dust returning, but
Brains behind a crazy
this is gonna be
idea
good.
like the Washouts, or should I say, lack of brains?
These two really know each other?
Yeah.
Gosh, this is
Scootaloo, where's your Rainbow Dash history? You should know about this.
Kicked out of the Wonderbolts.
You got yourself kicked out.
less cool.
And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Great to see you,
Okay.
Pony. I heard you're a full-fledged Bolt now.
Yeah, well, I'm still...
Mad at me? Look, was it wrong of me to endanger the lives of your friends?
Yes.
But hey, now I only endanger these knuckleheads.
Don't call me Knucklehead.
It's a little hard to argue with that logic.
Me and her, we blew every pony out of the sky.
Really?
Actually, yeah, really. All that wind was totally dangerous, but we had fun, right? 2 fastest times on the Dizzytron.
If I remember correctly, I had you beat by half a second.
Ooh.
Only because when I went, I cranked up the dizziness factor.
Well,
Ah, you
glad
two.
that worked out. Your show was pretty dynamite.
Wanna know the secret? We basically ignore everything the Wonderbolts ever taught us about safety.
Well, we do have safety rules for a reason.
Don't
Yeah.
listen to her, kid. All their rules were just ways of keeping their little club exclusive so they could feel good about themselves.
It's not
That's
about making
not
anybody feel bad.
true, no.
It's about finding the best flyers. The best of the best.
I started the Washouts because I believe any pony can be the best of the best. No,
Scootaloo!
is gonna be out for a while.
During the finale, I caught the old hind leg in the crushinated jaws of Smash-A-Lot.
Ugh.
There's a spot on the team if you want to join up.
Appreciate the offer, but I'm already a Wonderbolt.
Yeah.
Can I do it?
Let me think. No.
How?
Wasn't asking you.
Oh.
But technically, you haven't washed out of the bolts, which is kind of our thing.
And also, no.
Oh, what if I joined and dropped out super quick?
That's it. You're
Where are we going?
Can we address the fact that she actually can't fly,
just
please?
to drop out for the Washouts.
Say hi to Spitfire for me.
Oh boy. What's Spitfire gonna have to say about this?
Ever seen 2 simultaneous inverse displacement rolls before?
Would have been a lot cooler through the crushinator jaws of Smash patent pending.
Wow.
See, this is what I was telling you about. I got this.
Okay.
You know what happens when something goes wrong with the crushinator jaws of Smash-A-Lot? Patent pending.
Do tell.
End up in a full-body wing and hoof gas drinking through a straw. But with enough practice. Different scenario. You're probably saying to yourself, I'm young, I'm strong, I'm gonna go out there and stunt some tricks with my new friend, Lightning Dust. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you play that game, you're gonna find out it's pretty hard to stunt tricks in a full-body wing and hoof cast drinking through a straw. I think she gets the point. I'm not finished. Listen, I get it, kid. I used to be like you, telling myself,
Spitfire's in rare form. This is great.
I know. Well, whoop-de-doodle-doo. You think you got it made in the shade? Well, things are gonna be pretty shady indeed when you can't go out in the sun, cause you're in a full-body wing and hoof gas drinking through a straw. I make myself clear. Excellent.
This is like being scared straight here or something.
Sorry, that was a little intense.
A little? I can't wait to hear the military bronies feedback on this.
Every pony's dream, right?
More like follow your wing flaps.
Same difference.
Thanks, super talented flyer, for clearing up what I should do.
Clearing things up is one of my specialties. Now come on, let's go rip up all your washout posters into tiny pieces. And
Okay, now you're taking it a step too far.
I just thought of a great way to raise awareness for your original fan club. You know, the one about me? How about a silent auction where every item is just a picture of yours truly? Nah, I'm just kidding.
Dash, those are not your things.
Mystical, doesn't it? Oh, maybe if they're framed, it's like, wow, she's so humble, you think?
Is that old clip art or something?
Scootaloo?
Yeah, she's
Scootaloo?
gone.
Any pony seen Scootaloo?
Ooh!
My fault. Sorry, Twilight?
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I was just,
Please tell me you got that stuff so you could rip it up and throw it off a cliff.
we were doing an autograph.
Wow, throw it off a cliff. Okay.
Seriously?
This is getting intense.
You haven't seen Scoot, have you?
Actually,
Oh no.
I can't believe Scootaloo ditched me to watch them practice. Why can't she see how dangerous they are?
that's kind of the whole draw. It's exciting.
But it's like, the harder I try to convince Scoot they're dangerous, the more she likes them.
You can't control her actions, only yours. Teach her what's safe and what isn't, like a good role model. Then
Yeah.
hope she makes the right decision.
But what if she chooses them over me? She's gonna get hurt.
I think I know some pony else who might get hurt if that happens.
Oh.
Maybe you're right. But this isn't about me. I'm just worried about Scoot.
I can understand that,
Wow. You really
but her ego, I think, is coming into play a little bit here, though.
Sorry excuse for tomato sandwiches this!
Dude, you got issues, man.
Sorry, Dash. Autograph session's over. Unless you want to buy Short Fuse's limited edition half-eaten tomato sandwich.
I'm not signing that abomination!
You haven't seen Scootaloo, have
I
you?
love this guy.
Oh, isn't she that pony that used to respect you?
I'd appreciate you helping me find her, so I can apologize for trying to make her quit liking you.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she still likes us.
And oh boy.
We go way back, but I can't let her do this.
So I'm thinking Dash is gonna go through this course. It's gonna get hurt.
Obviously you do, because you can't see how dangerous this is. Do you not remember what Spitfire said?
Ugh, let me guess.
You'll be in a
Word for word.
wing and hoof cats drinking through a straw.
Yep. She's made that speech
It
before.
didn't sound like Spitfire.
Yeah, actually, she did.
We're leaving.
Just because I look up to you doesn't mean I have to be you. But based on your definition of what makes some pony great, I have bad news. I'll never be the best of the best or a Wonderbolt. Because I can't fly. Is that what you wanted to hear?
Oh!
But not being able to fly doesn't mean I can't do something. Strapping my scooter to a multi-stage liquid fuel rocket and jumping 22 wagons lined up in front of a roaring crowd.
Oh my
That was
word.
awfully specific. That's because it's what she'll be doing in the show tonight.
Oh.
Princesses, bring your friends.
Scootaloo, are you sure that's what you really want to do?
Absolutely. And there's nothing you can do to stop me.
You're right. You're your own fool, and you have to make your own decisions.
So much I want to say right now.
Because I already have.
Of course, Scootaloo herself feels like a washout because she can't fly. Of course she's attracted to this.
Super difficult stunt special cupcakes would have been so super difficult to bake.
Those are awesome.
Woo-wee! Looks like all of Ponyville's here. Except for Rainbow Dash.
Come on, Dash. The least you can do is swallow your pride and come watch Scootaloo. I keep thinking that's going to be Iron Will.
In just a moment, the newest member of the Washouts.
Oh, the young Six are there.
Rocket sledding down that hill. Up
Or at
that
least,
ramp, and over
Gallus and
all
Smolder, I saw.
22 wagons to land on the other side.
Yeah, Smolder's eating this up.
If she's lucky.
Put your hooves together for half pine dynamite!
Got some really old school wagons there. Half-pint dynamite.
Lightning Dust, I have to tell you, I actually started Equestria's first Washouts fan club, as far as I know. So this is a real honor, ma'am. Do I call you ma'am?
You land this jump? You can call me whatever you want.
Oh, please let her. That's a.
Nah.
That's like a Looney Tunes rocket.
Has any pony tested it before?
Does that thing have an Acme label on it?
There's more?
What?
Thinking of backing out, are you?
No! I'm just thinking about drinking through straws.
Yeah, you should be.
President of my fan club or not?
Of course! It's just
You wouldn't want to get impeached for dishonoring my wishes, would you?
See, you're crossing a line here.
light it up!
If ponies are willing to take risks, that's one thing, but you should not be forcing them to do something they don't want to do.
Not backing out. Too late.
Please let her be okay.
I know I was supposed to let you make your own decisions, but that doesn't mean I can't swoop in and save you from time to time.
Wow.
If I'd known you were gonna bail, I would have done the trick myself.
Great! So you won't mind how that rope's about to coil around your hoof.
What?
Rivals for life! Couldn't have it any other way.
Okay.
I'm sorry for joining the Washouts. Lightning Dust wasn't who I thought she was. She didn't care about me being scared or putting me in danger. She only wanted a good show, even if it meant I got hurt. That's not the kind of pony I want to look up to.
I'm the one who should be apologizing for not acting like some pony who deserves a fan club. I've been lucky enough to have some pony who thinks I'm the coolest. But there's nothing cool about making you feel like you'll never be as awesome as me. I think we should cancel the Washouts fan club, because I know a fan club that could use some new members.
The Rainbow Dash fan club.
No, it's the Scootaloo fan club.
Welcome to the first ever meeting of the newest fan club for the awesomest, previously underappreciated pony in Ponyville.
Yes!
Founding member and President Rainbow Dash presiding, it's the Scootaloo Fan Club!
Are Dash's parents here? Yes, 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 yes!
You know, Rainbow Dash was right. Eavesdropping on your own fan club isn't weird at all.
Oh, so many feels. And it's still not directly addressing the elephant in the room, but this is as close as we've ever gotten. Oh. Not going to say another word right now. I will be right back.
Meanwhile, I'm stuck here running Trials Week at the Academy.
But you love yelling and blowing your whistle.
Yeah, I do. Well, things are gonna be pretty shady indeed when you can't go out in the sun, 'cause you're in a full-body winged hoof gas ringing through a straw! Do I make myself clear?
Alrighty, well, I got a lot of notes, so I'm going to get right into this here. And I'm going to start with Lightning Dust. This is definitely not the way I envisioned Lightning Dust returning. I always thought it was going to be her trying to get a second chance at becoming a Wonderbolt or some such thing like that. And basically it would be about her trying to, you know, be reformed. Clearly that did not happen here, and honestly, I'm okay with that. The way this played out really made a lot of sense, and I loved it. You know, many people will say that we really shouldn't have to reform every single antagonist in the show, and I think this is one of those cases where I absolutely agree with that. You know, it's better to just leave things as they are. I mean, that doesn't happen in the real world. We don't have every person who affects us negatively suddenly make a turnaround for the better in real life. So, you know, this keeps things real a little bit. You know, and it is interesting that it seems like she kind of moved on. You know, I thought she just would have been still bitter about the things that happened in the past back in the Wonderbolts Academy. And, I mean, there was that initial tension with Dash there over that. But, you know, now it seems like she and the others are happy to be where they're at, you know, getting the chance to perform dangerous stunts for entertainment, which is kind of what they do best. You know, that said, the requirement of having to be a Wonderbolts dropout in order to join the Washouts still could be considered a little bit grudge-worthy, I think. I think there's a little more to it than they're willing to let on there. Now, I will say, you know, if they want to willingly place their own selves in danger, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's their choice to make. You know, if they're only endangering themselves, that's on them. You know, we can't say that they shouldn't do that. But forcing other ponies to perform dangerous stunts against their will is definitely not okay at all. And Lightning Dust really crossed a line in this regard. Now, granted, Scootaloo did volunteer to do the stunt, though not necessarily fully understanding what she was in for with it. And, of course, she was practically begging to even join the group in the first place. So, and was turned down initially because she wasn't a Wonderbolt dropout. And it's unclear what changed Lightning Dust's mind about this. That was never really addressed from what I could see. Maybe it's because Scootaloo got the full body wing and hoof cast talk from Spitfire, which is one of the funniest scenes ever in this entire show, I think. Gets funnier every time I watch it. And that maybe kind of sort of served as the qualification in Lightning Dust's eyes. But I really couldn't help but think that this was kind of a grudge thing against Rainbow Dash, where, she kind of saw a little bit of an opportunity to get even with her, so she bent the rules a little bit to let Scootaloo in. And, by that, I don't really even mean that she meant to get back at Dash by hurting Scootaloo. It was more just, it would have been more her having a chance to take away Dash's #1 fan from her. So there was that. The other possibility is that she just really needed a third pony to fill out their act, since Rolling Thunder was out due to an injury, and she just didn't really care where the help came from. I mean, after all, she offered the job to Rainbow Dash at first for that one show, but of course Dash declined. So, and the big problem here isn't even so much that they're doing dangerous stunts, but it's just rather that they have very little regard for their own safety. And I personally feel that that can easily translate into just a lack of safety for others around them, just because it's this big attitude of, I don't really care. And any legitimate stunt show out there, of course, is inherently dangerous, mainly to the performers, of course, but the people that run those shows also take as many precautions as they reasonably can in order to ensure the safety of both the crowd and the performers. Lightning Dust here just clearly had very little regard for safety at all, and it really showed in how she forced Scootaloo to perform by putting her on the scooter. I mean, literally picking her up and plopping her down on the scooter, and then hitting the launch button before she had really any reasonable chance to back away from it. And she was about to back away from it. She's saying having serious second thoughts about this. Even before that, Lightning Dust had really been kind of manipulative for Scootaloo here. I mean, just by allowing her to join in the first place, by bending the rules, was one step. But then, is it not really fully communicating the danger, just how seriously dangerous this was going to be. And, I mean, if it's something that she was going to have Scootaloo do, it should have been something she herself would have been willing to try. And I don't think she would have been willing to get on that scooter herself. But then there is also the fact that when they were prepping for the launch, Scootaloo was starting to kind of get nervous about it. She laid on this serious guilt trip for her on her about, well, you're the president of my fan club and you can't back out now. That just was really not fair at all. So clearly she was just acting in her own interests and not Scootaloo's at all. It seemed like she was just only really cared about putting on a good show and not risking any embarrassment there. She just wanted to be number one at any cost. I do kind of wish that we'd had Lightning Dust learn a little bit of a lesson of some sort in this. Especially after she had admitted early on that she was in the wrong back in the Wonderbolts Academy for getting everyone hurt with that windstorm in the first place. But it wasn't really necessary to wrap things up with Dash and Scootaloo, so, it's not that big of a deal. And it leaves the door kind of open for her to come back again in the future. Rivals for life, that's kind of a bold statement for, as you're blasting off like Team Rocket. So I'm positive, blasting off with a rocket, that had to be a Pokemon Team Rocket reference. But anyway, just to offer one positive thing here, though, I don't necessarily think that Lightning Dust and the Washouts should disband or anything. I think their show can be, quite a legitimate, fun piece of entertainment, and they just need to get some of their priorities straight regarding some, a little bit of safety factors here. They're playing the rebel thing a little bit too much, and I think they could be of some help too in other ways. Like if we ever do get to a point where, like if my theory comes true about there being some sort of like an all-out war thing for their series finale, the Washouts could end up being like a military special forces unit where they might be willing to go out on missions that are so dangerous that nobody else would dare try it. So, there is that possibility as well. But anyway, enough about Lightning Dust. Let's talk about Rainbow Dash. Big episode for Rainbow Dash. It was rather interesting seeing all the callbacks to the mysterious Mare Duel in this episode. Back then it was quite apparent that Rainbow Dash had a lot of ego issues to sort out in her life. And I really do think she's come a long ways, but as we saw here, she still has a ways to go. It's one thing to take pride in one's work and accomplishments. That is a very important and very healthy thing to do. You should take pride in what you've accomplished, but not to go like overboard with it and think you're, better than everybody else because of it and such. And Rainbow Dash obviously goes a little overboard on this and could stand to eat a few slices of humble pie. And that might be part of the problem because she hates pie. Rainbow Dash herself admitted that eavesdropping in and of itself is wrong in this episode. Sometimes it's hard to overhear, not overhear things. You can't help but overhear some things. But listening in intentionally is bad. And she went so far as to not even just occasionally, but like every single one of her own fan club meetings she would listen in on. That is over the top, weird, kind of creepy stalker level almost. And seems like to be like nothing but self-serving for her. So, yeah, bit of an issue there. Also, there's the fact that she was just shocked that Scootaloo would ever even consider taking interest in some pony other than herself. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal for that. She should realize that that's going to happen at some point. But, of course, she's not going to be happy about it. And, now, to be fair, she does have, obviously, a special bond with Scootaloo with everything they've been through together. And, is basically serving as her adoptive sister. Her and her parents have basically adopted Scootaloo into their family at this point. So, it's, there is that close relationship there. And, it's pretty clear she's really grown used to being the role model for Scootaloo. And, is likely afraid that, even if just subconsciously, that, she might kind of lose some of that relationship if Scootaloo kind of moves on and finds some other role models. And of course there is the fact that Dash's pride as a Wonderbolt was being challenged given that it was another flying team, so it's easy to see that she was kind of getting defensive about that. So a lot of emotions kind of muddying up the works in this. Of course what Dash should have realized is that being a part of being a good role model and frankly a good older sister is that she should want what's best for Scootaloo, even if that's just not all about herself. And I do think that she's done well in supporting Scootaloo to date. Despite her lack of flight, but she should have realized that maybe Scootaloo needs goals to reach for that are a little bit more within her grasp. And that doesn't mean that she has to hate Dash or the Wonderbolts, not by any stretch of the imagination. It just means that it's healthy for Scootaloo to have other interests and goals to work towards. Unfortunately, Dash was too focused on her own awesomeness to realize how she was hurting Scootaloo in this regard. I mean, I don't even know if hurting is the right word. It's more just the idea that she's kind of holding her back a little bit by not encouraging her to go out and try things that are things that she can be good at herself. And part of the problem in all of this is for Rainbow Dash herself. I think she's a little bit too focused on her own awesomeness to realize how. I think that Dash is has too narrowly defined her own awesomeness. She sees herself as being truly awesome largely because she's one of the best flyers in all of Equestria. And now she can validate that because of the fact that she's a senior member on the Wonderbolts, which is the most well-recognized elite team of flyers in all of Equestria. And it's true. She's a great flyer. There is no discounting that whatsoever. She's proved that time and time and time again. But that's just one small part of what I personally feel like makes her special and awesome. And she tends to focus on that one thing far too much and fails to see the many other ways in which that she can become even more awesome. In the times where she does finally kind of check her ego at the door and consider others around her and stuff, I mean, she's done some pretty cool things that really have made her shine. She just, needs to figure out how to do more of that and do less focusing on herself. And now, I do applaud the fact that that Dash kind of switched gears a little bit in the middle of this when she realized the danger that Scootaloo was really about to put herself in. I mean, it's clear she does legitimately care for Scootaloo's well-being, and that definitely showed later in the episode, both by her words and, much more importantly, her actions there at the very end. Unfortunately, Dash had kind of started things off on the wrong foot by driving a wedge between herself and Scootaloo, by getting angry at her interest in another flying team, and even went so far as to forcibly rip down the posters and all the other paraphernalia there and to throw them away. I mean, that she had absolutely no right to do that whatsoever. And of course, he also kept trying to just shut down any involvement between Scootaloo and the Washouts, and that while also doing a lousy job of explaining her reasoning. And yes, I think Scootaloo could just only see that Rainbow Dash was just bossing her around and not really considering her feelings at all. I can't help but think that Dash's pride as a Wonderbolt was a major factor in these actions. No matter how much she tried to say that it's not really about me. I just don't want to see her get hurt. I mean, especially when after coming back from Spitfire's tirade, which was a crazy moment in this. That scene gets funnier every time. Dash was still trying to convince Scootaloo to follow in her hoofsteps. Just still not getting that wasn't even really possible on a number of levels. And that there are times here where, in that scene specifically, where I kind of got the feeling almost that Dash was acting like kind of like an overprotective mother, where she, her vision was kind of clouded on this. She could only see that nobody else cared about Scootaloo's safety the way that she did, and she felt like she was the only one who was qualified to teach Scootaloo the right way to live, and just went overboard in trying to convince Scootaloo to only pay attention to her as a result. And obviously she could very well see the danger that Scootaloo was in. She didn't want her to get hurt, but again, she was doing a lousy job of communicating this, and her actions were speaking far louder than her words, as they often do, and it wasn't meshing well there. even though she cares very deeply for Scootaloo, it's clear that she's just letting her personal pride and ego get in the way of having an honest conversation with her, and which she really needed to have in order to understand the turmoil that Scootaloo was dealing with here. She never once, at any point in this, bothered to ask Scootaloo why this was such a big deal for her. Why are you so interested in this group? What does this mean to you? She just made a lot of really bad assumptions and failed to recognize that Scootaloo is still struggling with the reality of her disability. And it wasn't until Scootaloo finally spelled it out for her that she realized what she had done. And I think at that point, she was honestly kind of afraid that she might have damaged their relationship beyond repair at that point there. Fortunately, she did make up for it in the end, by really coming through for Scootaloo with that save. And, I think basically just got down to the point where her words no longer carried any weight because of the mistakes that she had made, and she had to let her actions speak for herself. And, by letting Scootaloo go through with this stunt, and then also being there for her when she needed it the most. That, quite honestly, is the best way to prove your point in anything. Words can only go so far. You got to prove you mean what you're talking about. And Dash did finally get there in the end. I don't think she really... She was letting her actions speak for herself, and the actions weren't speaking very well because she still had her priorities kind of wrong. Once she got that straightened out, then her actions showed her true intent in all of this. And then at the end, I saw Dash do one of the most grown-up things I think I have ever seen her do. She swallowed her own pride, fully admitted that she was not acting like anyone who would deserve to have her own fan club, and then turned around and started her own fan club in honor of Scootaloo. That was a huge step forward for her there. She finally realized that she needed to support Scootaloo by giving her the confidence to go do whatever it is that she is best at, rather than trying to force Scootaloo to be just like herself. And, I will say here, even if Scootaloo could fly, it would be wrong of Dash to just try and convince her to be just like her. Everyone is different. Everyone is unique. There is no person out there who can be just like you in every way, nor should there be. Even if Scootaloo was had become a great flyer, and maybe she will someday. Who knows? But we haven't got there yet. But even if that was her, if she was able to fly and then she was working towards becoming a great flyer, she would still be doing it in her own way. She wouldn't be just like Rainbow Dash. She would be doing it with her own style, which is what would be great. So yeah, I really hope that Dash has learned well from this incident now and is more thoughtful of others in the future. Of course, I don't want to see Dash lose her swagger and self-confidence or anything. I mean, that's who she is. And as I said before, taking pride in one's accomplishments and stuff is a very important thing to do. She just needs to get her priorities straight and be more considerate and understanding of others. So hopefully we finally get there for her on this. Hopefully, second time's the charm. In a way, this is a little bit almost like Mysterious Mare-Do-Well 2.0, so hopefully she finally gets it this time. Now, for Scootaloo. This commentary is going to run really long, but I got things to say. For starters, I just want to say I am definitely still a little frustrated that we still have yet to fully address the issue of her lack of flight. I mean, obviously this is the closest we've ever been. This is the first episode that has been solely focused on this issue for her. I feel, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. There's been times in the past, was it Flight to the Finish? I think it was, where she's been frustrated by this. But it's been a while since we've directly talked about this, and the main point here is we've still never really gotten any backstory behind this. We have no idea what's really causing her to lack this ability of flight. I mean, there's all manner of fan ideas, and there was Lauren Faust's original vision that she shared with us and all this stuff, but directly in canon, this has never really been addressed as of yet. I just can't help but think that, it's like at some point you'd think somebody would have her examined at the hospital or something to try and determine what the issue is. I mean, for crying out loud, they science cutie marks, which is a magical thing. I can't imagine the mechanics of Pegasus flight would be that much of a mystery. So, maybe they've already done that, but again, that's never been actually revealed and addressed in canon. So, I do think we might still yet get there before Gen 4 is done. Maybe something next season. It's kind of starting to almost feel like this is a gradual, very slow, gradual story arc for her. Kind of like how it took 5 seasons for the CMCs to get their cutie marks. So, maybe there's something coming yet. We'll finally get to see how that plays out. But just have to wait and see next season if something happens. But that aside, what we have here is a situation where Scootaloo is finally starting to outgrow Rainbow Dash. And I think that's actually a very healthy step for her. That doesn't at all mean that I think Dash is a bad role model for her, because, she really isn't. Especially if she later proves that she really did learn her lesson from this episode here. But, and she's had a very positive impact on Scootaloo's life in general. There's no denying that. She's not perfect. Nobody is, but she really has been a good help to Scootaloo. So that's not an issue here. And as I mentioned before, I just really think it's a good idea for Scootaloo to have actual achievable dreams and goals. If she really is never going to be able to fly, then quite frankly, her obsession with Dash and the Wonderbolts isn't really the best thing for her. That's not to say that she can't still look up to Dash and the Wonderbolts. There's nothing wrong with that. She's just finally realizing that, at least at this point, she really has no future with the Wonderbolts because of her disability, so she needs to look elsewhere for some inspiration. And, and honestly, being a stunt pony isn't necessarily all that bad of an idea either. We've already seen that she's quite skilled in this area with all the acrobatics that she's done with her scooter and stuff in the past. I mean, not the least of which is as her slingshotting herself all the way up to Cloudsdale. That was impressive. I mean, let's be honest here. And given this whole turn of events now, I think it's entirely possible that she really could herself become a fantastic stunt pony at some point. Just hopefully one that takes proper safety precautions, and like works up to the more extreme stuff. You gotta start at a level that's more achievable. So, and it is a bit interesting to me that this whole incident even occurred in the first place. Going back to the Fault in Her Cutie Marks with the comments that Scootaloo had made there, I had kind of gotten the feeling that she, at that point, had come to terms with the fact that she can't fly and, was, moving on from that. She's like, I've accepted this, I'm moving on. But it's, since then, she's just continued to idolize Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts, even to the point of still running the Rainbow Dash fan club. So, clearly she hasn't given up on that. And really, we haven't seen her do much, unless there's something I'm forgetting, which there could be. She really hasn't done much anything besides that since getting her cutie mark. That's now that she's not still on the hunt for a cutie mark, Dash and the Wonderbolts has become her singular focus. She just has not given up on that. And I think deep down, she still is thinking that maybe someday her dream of flying might yet come true. And it's just been subconsciously, or even maybe sometimes consciously, just eating or gnawing away at her this entire time. And I could imagine there being a decent amount of repressed anger over that she's been dealing with. And when Rainbow Dash noted that the Wonderbolts were just all about finding the best flyers that there were, that really crushed Scootaloo. You could see that hit her hard, because once again, she is having her disability just thrown right in her face, and her dreams are just kind of being ripped away from her again. It's when the thing that you've looked up to the most, you're told that, well, you can only be this awesome if you can do this, and she can't do that. I mean, that's a horrible place to be in. And then when Lightning Dust then turned around and said that she started the Washouts because she believed that any pony could become the best of the best, regardless of, you know, whether they could fly or not. I mean, man, at that moment she had completely won over Scootaloo because she gave her a confidence boost that Dash was failing to provide. So it's no wonder that Scootaloo got on board with them there. And when Scootaloo did finally blow up at Dash, I think what happened is she'd finally gotten to this point where she was able to vent some of this repressed anger over her condition because she finally saw a way in which she could actually do something truly awesome despite her disability. I mean, this really hadn't ever come up for her before. And I think she probably knew that, I think she probably knew that Dash hadn't really meant to hurt her. You know, I mean, she really didn't appear to be holding a grudge, which is good. I think it was just a matter of she wanted Dash to realize just how big of a deal this opportunity was to her, and she wanted Dash to support her in this in some way. I mean, I don't think she'd given up looking up to Rainbow Dash. She just really wasn't happy that it was just become this whole thing of no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can only, pay attention to me. That wasn't helpful at that point. So, and I do have to wonder. Before I get into that, I just want to say, as part of her mental state, there was also the fact that she got to sort of experience flight a little bit back in. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the episode name now. This just came to me, but earlier this season when they were down at the Mount Eris. And got to experience being sea ponies. I mean, Scootaloo said, like, is this what flight feels like? And I think that actually might have been the catalyst to come back to this point again. Like, she'd come to terms with it, then got a little taste of it, and now it's just been eating at her again. So the timing of this really makes a lot of sense. But anyway, I'm gonna say I do have to wonder a little bit why nobody else tried to step in and stop, like, the reckless child endangerment here. You'd think at least Twilight would have said something, or, and honestly, for some reason, both Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle were missing in all of this entirely. So, but even if they were there, I kind of doubt that they would have succeeded in convincing her to stop anyway, because I think, Scootaloo was just too excited about this, and I think she's the kind of person when she gets fixated on an idea, there's no stopping her. Hence her crazy, report and everything that she did on Rainbow Dash. I really do find it hard to fault Scootaloo for much of this too, because she was chasing after the first real attainable goal that she's had since getting her cutie mark, and given that she's just a filly, I don't really think it's fair to put a lot of the blame on her for not being fully realizing of the danger. I mean, that's really mostly on Lightning Dust for that, and I'm really not sorry to see her get blasted away because of that. But in any case, I just really hope that Scootaloo, with her newfound confidence and her own fan club now, is finally able to go out and find a goal to work towards and achieve a dream and find something that just makes her truly happy. She deserves that. And of course, I do also hope that at some point before the series ends, we finally get to learn the whole story about what's going on with her, but we'll just see. Anyway, this has been a really long chat here. I gotta wrap this up. I will just offer some brief side thoughts here. I loved Twilight in this episode. She was just so adorable for some reason. And Twilight's always been kind of the nerdy type, I gotta say, but her nerdy obsessions have largely revolved around Celestia, Star Swirl, magic, and books. And in this case, she is getting kind of geeking out over the Washouts, like an action, oriented flying team. That's not her typical fare, and it's like, I mean, even to the point where she's like collecting posters and getting autographs and whatever, like going full fangirl. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just it's nice to see her finally trying something different or getting into something different. Getting out of her shell a little bit. So even if it is something that kind of peeves Rainbow Dash. And you know, even all the main six were actually getting into it in this one, which is that was fun. Like, we don't normally get to see the main six all together just doing fun things together. You know, usually when they're all together, they're fixing some kind of a problem, be it a problem for somebody else or a problem amongst themselves. It's very seldom we get to see them all just kind of watching from the sidelines and enjoying things together. So that was kind of fun little treat to see there. But anyway, that's all I got on this. I really got to wrap this up because this has been a crazy long talk. But fantastic episode. Another piece of great work from Nick Confalone. Really the only complaint I have in this is that continuity issue where Scootaloo didn't know who Lightning Dust was, which she clearly knew before when she was explaining Rainbow Dash's life history to her parents, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's plenty of ways you can explain it away. You know, Scootaloo was just so excited and completely forgot, blah, 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 but very minor nitpick overall. It's a great character episode for both Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash, and nice to see Lightning Dust again. Can finally check off a really old wish list item of mine, and yeah, people have been continuing to hype me for the rest of the season, so I'm looking forward to more episodes coming up. So, until then, have a good one, everyone.